I'm going to show you how simple it is to do a service. They charge you, what, 200 quid or something for a service, maybe? But probably more. This is all you need to do a service and how easy it is. You need your oil. You go on Euro car parts, it'll tell you what oil you need and how much. You need an air filter and you need an oil filter. So that cost me 62 quid or something. You'll need a jack, you may not, depending on how high your car is. You might need one of these to do my oil filter, but not all oil filters are the same. Some of them have like a built-in nut on the top, really easy to do. And a socket set for one nut, which is the engine drain plug on the bottom. You should get a new engine drain plug every time you do it, but I actually forgot. And then you'll need something to undo the airbox with, which is 2 Phillips heads for me. But I'm going to take you through it step by step of how easy it is to do. Why are you paying £200 when you can do this? I mean, even someone who doesn't know what they're doing, it shouldn't take you longer than an hour. So first off, you need to drive your car around, make sure it gets up to temperature under 90 degrees, like you might need to let it cool down. Then we're going to crack this off. Hear that? Just helps more oil drain to the sump. So once that's cracked off, leave that so it's draining through, draining all the oil out of the oil filter. And my nut, actually, this one here. So I've put a jack stand there just for proportion. Why not, eh? If you've got one, just put it there, because the jacks that come with your car are not really the greatest. Now we're gonna crack this off. So mine is actually a 19mm. Yours may be different, but it shouldn't be wanged right up. There we go. That's loose. So you want to do this, your oil filler, make sure that's pretty much drained. If you haven't got one of these are a beast. So you can fill it up and then take it to the recycling centre, empty it, and then it's still there. And it just drains into the hole. You've got like your little drain plugs, one there. Remember to take off the other one so it doesn't create a vacuum in there, because the oil won't drain in quick enough. You put this in the position. And remember, the oil squirts out because of the pressure. So you need to put it a bit further away than it needs to be. And you want to get this loose so it's just about to come out. Because I need to keep this. I ain't got another one. Go. So it's ready. There. There's the oil draining nicely. I'm actually going to lower the car a bit as well, just so it's more level to get as much oil out as possible. So while that's draining the rest of it, I'm going to remove my oil filter. So some oil filters are built-in units, so your filter will look like this. Dribbling oil everywhere. It'll just come as one unit. With these, it's like a two-part thing. I like to have a look just in between, see if there's any crap in there, bits of metal or anything, just so I know the engine's healthy. And you know what, it looks pretty good. Don't get your O-rings, very important. All we're going to do is pop the old filter in the box so we don't make more of a mess. And we're going to get a clean rag and clean that out. And it looks pretty clean. So you see in this bag you get two O-rings, one little one, one big one. That replaces this seal on the outer one, you can just about see it, and the little one there. Always replace these seals, very important. Get the old one off. There's the old one off. And actually use a bit of the old oil. Someone will tell you that you're supposed to use new oil, so just oil them up before you put them on. The oil's clean, Who cares what oil it is, whether it's old on you. So make sure that that's seated properly. See, that's nice and seated and oiled. Give it a big one. And do the same again. Nice bit of oil around it. Make sure it gets a good seal. Just rub an oil around it. And then this one seats around there. Make sure it's not twisted. Good to go. And on top of the oil filter, it'll tell you which is the top and bottom. There's the top on this one. So all we do is plonk that in. Make sure it fits in there nice. And that's seated. Put this back over the top. Spill a load of oil everywhere. Make sure it goes on nice and square. And tighten it up. So it says 25 Newton meters. It doesn't have to be like overly tight. If you can overly tight it, it'll squash the filter. So you don't want to over tighten it. So it just wants to be snugged up and a bit more. We're ready to replace the drain bolt. Same drain bolt. Because we're stupid and we didn't buy another. I can actually get in here now without jacking it back up. But you can see they're pretty much stopped dripping. So I'm just gonna pop it in there. The thread started there, just to stop it dripping. Pull that oil thing out, give it a little wipe, and then tighten it back up. So snug it up and then just give it a good little wang basically. Obviously you can't get all your force behind it. You don't want all your force behind it. It doesn't need to be like that. It's not just going to jump out. See how the amount of threads on it? It'll take a long time for that to rattle loose. Right, so there's the old oil, ready to take up the tip. I'm just going to change the air filter first. Always change your air filter when you do your oil. That's these two screws here, and the top should just pop off. Got to take this off without, there we go, and we'll just be able to do it. There we go. So that's your air filter. This one's should be fairly clean, bits of crap in there, it's all flies and dust. Here's our new air filter. Literally, obviously if there's any crap in there you need to take it out, like leads and stuff, but there isn't. So pop the new one in there. Make sure it's seated nicely around the seal. Now that's nicely seated. Pop the lid back on the airbox, and that's it. Job's a good one for that. There's the lid back on. Just unscrew it up. Make sure you've connected back any cables that you've disconnected, and that's the air filter done. Now we're gonna fill the car full of oil. It requires 4.5 litres in my car. It'll tell you on Euro car parts. I'm just going to pour 3 litres straight off, because you might have some oil that hasn't quite left, and it's a lot easier to add oil than it is to remove oil. And they all have, on the back of these oil things, they all have a gauge. It'll tell you how much you've got. Just give a little check. Got 1 litre in. 2 litre. So I'm expecting to have half a litre left over, but we're just gonna check the dipstick anyway, just to make sure. Always go by the dipstick. Unfortunately, a lot of modern cars don't come with a manual dipstick. It's all on your computer, on your screen, so we're not even registering yet. That's good. Means we got a lot of the oil out, the old oil. There's we are at the 2 litre mark, so we've got 3 litres in here. Are we registering yet? So you can see there we're just registering on the bottom just a little bit. I'll just let that settle a little bit. Give the dipstick a little check again. So we're just at the minimum. A little bit more in there. Not much. We're at the top really now. What I'm going to do is turn the engine on. So you can see there, after I let the engine turn, I've re-dipsticked it, it's actually dropped from full to below minimum. So we're going to top up some more. And we are almost back to the maximum again. And we have used almost 4 litres. I'm actually going to move to a flat spot and then do the last little bit. Oil and filter change, driving, checked it on the flat, just topped it up to the top bit, and that's it. That's how you do it, that's how easy it is. And people are charging you £250 for something that costs £60 in parts, just your time. So they're charging almost £150 for 45 minutes worth of work. Might get into the servicing business, sounds very lucrative.